Have you ever noticed how everything you've ever been taught about health is built on a fundamentally flawed paradigm? The whole scheme is flawed. Now I want to start with this. Understand that healthcare is a business, and a lot of businesses are to help people. Fundamentally, what a business is helping other people in return for money. Healthcare is not a helping other people based business, they are a money based business. Some businesses happen because they really, really want to help people and they get to make money because of that. Other businesses really, really want to make money, so they find some way to help other people. And that is healthcare. That is what the healthcare business is. I discovered that true healthcare isn't through a system. It isn't a centralized thing that's out there. Real healthcare is power. Real health, vitality, is all on you, or all decentralized. It's away from the hospitals, from the healthcare, from the doctors, from the schools. Really, the biggest experience I had with healthcare is I broke my ankle. Right here, I got surgery. You can see it. This was before I knew a lot about health. They offered me surgery. I didn't have to get surgery, but at the time I didn't know better, and I was in pain. My ankle hurt. It fucking hurt. I couldn't walk. Couldn't put any pressure on it. It couldn't be touched, and it would hurt. So first was me not knowing, and second, I did not know any better, and it just hurt. It hurt so bad. So yeah, I was like, no doubt, I was like, yes, I am getting surgery. Fix my ankle. Now I have a titanium plate in my leg for the rest of my life. Something external. And I've thought about getting a surgery to get it removed because I know I can heal it on my own. I haven't looked into it a ton yet, but it's been in my mind. But that was the big thing. When I was hurt, it was simple. It was like, hey, you have to wear this boot. You know those plastic gray boots? It was like, hey, you have to wear this boot for a few months and you're not going to be able to walk. You're going to have to use crutches everywhere. And during this time was the lowest I've ever been. The most depressed because I felt so useless. So useless. So the healthcare, the hospital's way of healing me was saying, hey, you're going to be healed, but you're going to get to do nothing. You can't do anything for 3 months. You get to sit, you get to lay in bed. And I was in high school at the time. You get to crutch around high school. There was days that I didn't eat lunch because I couldn't carry a lunch tray. So I was very useless. If I had known now, I could have healed myself so much better, so much faster, so much more efficiently, and it would have been long term. I wouldn't have a titanium plate in my leg for the rest of my life. So looking back on it, that's the biggest healthcare experience I've had, and how they took power from me when if I healed myself, I'm giving myself power. So not only am I healing myself, but I'm giving myself power rather than being healed and giving away my power. Healthcare, your body is its own healthcare. You don't need healthcare, you need your body. Think of all the thousands, the tens of thousands, the hundreds of thousands of years that humans have been without hospitals. Think of animals. Animals have never had hospitals. And think, the only few animals that go to hospitals are pets. Pets are not natural. They are not in nature. Pets are eating dried food that is not real food. They're eating fake food. Even if it's better for them food, yeah, it's probably better for them. It's going to help them, but it's not real food. They're not in nature. They're not outside in the sun, in the woods. The only animals who go to hospitals are animals who are not in nature. No other animals need hospitals because they're in nature. They're how they're supposed to be. Their body is their own healthcare. Humans' bodies are our own healthcare. The only thing taking that from us is that we are not in nature. We are not in alignment. We are not in tune with what heals us. Rather, we are so out of alignment that we try to heal ourselves in out of alignment ways because we are not in alignment. If we are in alignment, there is no needing a hospital, needing to heal, needing to be healed, needing to give our power away, because when we are in nature, we can heal ourselves. So the healthcare old paradigm of prevention, no, not of prevention, excuse me, of solutions, fixing, is not working. My healthcare, my personal, decentralized, in alignment, in tune with nature healthcare is preventative. Not only is it preventative, it's just sustainably healthy. The way I live is sustainably healthy because I'm in alignment, because I do things that keep me healthy. Whereas the hospitals, they are do whatever you want. And then when you are unwell, you come see us and we're like, oh shit, what do we do? Why have the problem in the first place? Just to spend money on healthcare, which is way overpriced because it's a money business. Why spend money on the healthcare that could have been prevented and you don't need, and when healthcare is not going to heal you as efficiently as healing yourself? It makes no sense. That's old. That's an old way. We are shifting into this new way of healing, of being, of just living. Health is not about fixing. It's about being. And when you are being with your health, you are preventing, so you won't need to fix. But also when you do need to fix, if something actually goes wrong, you are in the lifestyle and you have the tools and you have the knowledge to heal yourself with your own power and not with somebody else's power. And a lot less money and a lot less debt. I've heard of people who have it all. They have their home, they have their kids, they have their great jobs, they have their careers that they've worked their whole lives for. One sickness happened, they have medical bills. Then all their wealth that they built up is just gone because they have medical bills. But if you could take that into your own hands, that's not something you have to worry about. Really, health revolves around energy, frequency, nature, voltage of your cells, all of these things. None of those have to do with a pill. None of those have to do with a doctor. These are things that you find on your own, that you do on your own. So you can go do the standard of what the doctors want you to do, which is not going to heal you. And if it does, it's not going to heal you safely, sustainably, or as effectively as you can heal yourself. So you can choose the standard of going to the doctors, or you can choose personal power. You can take your power back. You can be powerful yourself. So my unique approach to this is just living the lifestyle that you won't be unhealthy. You live the lifestyle, you're simply going to be healthy. It's all based on energy principles, controlling the energy, controlling the frequency within your body. Where is your energy at? I am hyper aware of where my energy is at all times. Right now, I feel cool, but I feel a little fired up because these things fire me up because I know there's so much knowledge being stripped and taken and hidden. Hidden's the big one. So it fires me up, but I'm coming at it from a very cool, from a very like balanced, coherent state. That's where my energy's at. This morning my energy was in a different place. This morning I was at a coffee shop trying to write, and I was like, my energy is not here right now. My energy is not here at all. So I left the coffee shop because I was aware of where my energy was at. Because I'm like, if my energy is not how I want it to be, I'm not gonna do that thing. Very, very, very similar with health, right? If you're waking up tired, that's not normal. You're not supposed to wake up tired. If you are sleepy, if you are yawning all throughout the day, that is not normal. That is not how it's supposed to be. If you are in the evenings too tired to go for a walk, or to do stretching, or to do yoga, or to do a little bit of just hobby work like playing music or reading a book or writing, that's not normal. If you feel so tired to the point where like, I just have to sit here and relax, that's not normal. So it's being aware of where this energy is at, and then once you are aware of your energy, what to do with it, what to do about it. So when you are energy depleted, you do not have, first you do not have the awareness. You have to be aware that you are energy depleted. It starts with awareness. Once you are aware that you are energy depleted, then it's a lack of tools, of lifestyle. You don't want to be low energy all the time, because if you're low energy, yeah, you can probably get through your day. You can probably work, you can probably collect your paycheck, you can probably get home and talk to your friends or who you live with, your family or your partner. Don't have multiple partners. You can get through your day. But now imagine if you went through your days with your energy super, super high instead of just like kind of flat, nothing. What if you got through your days with 4 times, 5, 6, 10, 20 times the amount of energy? And not energy as in like little kid, like energy like, boom, I'm feeling good. Like I'm going to come at this from a good place. And high energy doesn't always mean physical or like, yeah, let's go. Da, da, da. It can just be high energy in your body, and you can speak just like this, or you can relax. You can silently read a book still, so still. But you can come from a place of higher energy there. A big thing I noticed this energy shift was with my friend. Him and I went on a trip to Austin, Texas for 1 month. Him and I. He's typically a more low energy person. And I'm typically a more high energy person. So me just being around him more raised his energy. He was just at a little bit of a higher baseline because he saw that energy and he was like, whoa, I don't always have to be low energy all the time. He's like, I can have high energy. I can have this positive frequency within me rather than negative, or not even negative, but just neutral. You could be neutral. That's not bad, but what if instead of neutral, you were just positive? It's just better. So really health, the new paradigm, this new way of living, health-wise, is like, what would your life look like from if you had energetic freedom? If you were free to control your energy, to have whatever energy you want, to be aware of your energy and to shift. You're like, hey, I am at this state right now. I want to be here. I want to be here. I want to do this, so I'm going to shift my energy to be here so that I can do this from a better state. Now, really, once you are aware, a lot of what I just talked about is about the awareness. Here's how to implement once you have the awareness. First, you are aware. Next is like, okay, what caused me to be in this energetic state, right? High energy is about, the number one thing is sunlight. If you are in the sun, if you are getting light from the sun, even if it's a cloudy day, it's a cloudy day right now. It was raining. But being outside is still going to do so much for you because the sun is the greatest healer there is. Think about it. Animals in nature don't need to go to the hospitals. The only people who have to go to the hospitals are people and pets, which are the two most common creatures that are inside all day. They're the only creatures that are inside all day. And they need hospitals, but the creatures outside don't. You need the sun. The sun is the number one thing that will bring you energy. You don't have to fear the sun. You don't have to fear the sun. Don't wear sunglasses. That's going to block the light from getting into your eyes, which is the number one most effective way of regulating your circadian rhythm. Your circadian rhythm is the basis of your energy because that's your daily cycle. That's going to tell you like, hey, be awake in the morning because your day's starting. You have a full day ahead of you. And then toward the evening, it's going to be like, hey, we're going to calm down a little bit. We're going to chill. We're going to get ready for bed. So that way you're going to get the best deep sleep possible. If your circadian rhythm doesn't set you for a good night of sleep an hour, 2, 3 hours before you go to sleep, it's going to be taken from your actual sleep. So instead of your circadian rhythm calming you down before your sleep, it's going to be the first 2 to 3 hours of your sleep are not going to be good. So you could get 9 hours of sleep, but if the first 3 aren't good, that's like 6 hours. So you're wasting your time. But now, what if your circadian rhythm was really set and you were winding down, you didn't have any blue light after sunset, you were very chill, like you allowed your circadian rhythm to set itself throughout the day, throughout the weeks, and you are winding down 2 to 3 hours before bed, so that way right when you go to bed, you're going to be in deep sleep a lot sooner, hours sooner, and then instead of needing 8 to 9 hours of sleep, you can get away with 6, with 7. You maybe get away with 5 if you're at peak energy in all other aspects. Energy is energy. You get energy from sleep, you get energy from food, you get energy from the sun, you get energy from water, you get energy from oxygen. There's so many ways to get energy, and energy is just energy. There's just a lot of different ways to get that, and some we need, right? We need to eat food so we can get our vitamins and minerals. We need oxygen because we need oxygen for our entire body, for our blood to work. You need sleep because sleep is when you heal, right? You need all these different kinds of energy, but what I'm saying is energy is energy. And if you're getting a little less of one thing, you can supplement it with another thing. You don't need 8 to 9 hours of sleep if you are getting 2 to 3 hours of sunlight, if you are doing 1 to 2 breath works daily, if you are eating the best possible food you can, you need a little less sleep. And sleep's the one that I like to have a little less of and supplement, because sleep you could do nothing. If I'm getting my 2 to 3 hours of sun each day, I can work, I can write outside, I can journal, I can research, I can be on my phone, I could play guitar, I could write songs, I can outline ideas, I can do whatever I want in the sun, right? And I'm still getting my 2 to 3 hours of sunlight for my energy for the day. But if I'm sleeping, I'm just out, I'm not doing anything. So really, energy is energy. The energy cycle, the circadian rhythm, the circadian rhythm is just like your energy cycle. In the morning, right when you wake up, you see sunlight, sunlight, real sunlight. That's going to signal to your body like, time to be awake, let's go. You get the infrared light. Infrared light from the sun is highest at the sunrise and the sunset. That's what signals your circadian rhythm to wake up and go to sleep when it sees high levels of infrared light. So in the morning, you see the sunrise, infrared light. If you can't see the sunrise, if you wake up before or after the sunrise, get a red light. I love EMR Tech. I've used theirs for at least a year, maybe a little less than a year, but it is absolutely amazing. And you can get 30% off. My link's in the description of the video. But if you can't get the infrared light, the red light from the sun, get it from a red light, and that's going to immediately set your circadian rhythm, and you're like, time to wake up, time for my energy to rise, time for it to rise. And then as the sun gets in the sky more, it's getting higher, that's giving off more levels of the blue, like UV light side of the spectrum, and that's signaling to your body like, hey, it's time to stay awake, it's time to keep going. This is the peak energy of the day. The peak of the sun is the peak of your energy. And then As the sun goes down, a little less blue light, little less blue light, more infrared, more infrared, more infrared as the sun is setting. So as the sun is setting, if you're not always able to watch the sunset, turn your red light on and watch the sunset that way. Sit in front of it for 15, 20 minutes before bed. That's still going to signify the sunset, which is going to get your circadian rhythm ready for sleep. So again, you won't have to waste an hour to 3 hours of sleep on your circadian rhythm preparing yourself for bed and wasting your sleep. You can do this before bed, watching the sunset, or with a red light. And that's going to tire your body. That's going to be like, all right, time to chill out. And you do not want any blue light once it is dark outside. Because that's blue light, just like I said, from the sun. When the sun is highest in the sky, blue light, blue light, blue light. That's like, all right, peak energy. This is the top of the day. If you see blue light from your phone screen or from your TV, from your laptop or from your Apple Watch or from a light in your house, in the hallway, in the bathroom, in your bedroom, right? High energy, middle of the day, high energy, even if it's 10 at night. That your body's not supposed to be at high energy. It's supposed to be cooling off so we can go to sleep and get the peak energy from sleep, the deep healing. All of energetic alignment pretty much revolves around your circadian rhythm, because the more your circadian rhythm is set and dialed and locked in, the more efficient everything in your body will be, because almost everything revolves around your circadian rhythm. Almost everything in your body. Right? During the day, your circadian rhythm is going to give you the energy. It's going to give you the highest energy so you can do the most during the day without getting tired, without feeling exhausted, without feeling like, oh, I just can't do anything. Your circadian rhythm is giving you that energy, and then it also takes your energy. It also cools you down. It doesn't take your energy. It just gives you different energy. It cools you down, and then you're like sleep, and you can have the most energy while sleeping, so you can heal and you can get the deepest sleep. Everything revolves around your circadian rhythm. Almost every single anti-cancer like agent in your body thrives off the circadian rhythm being at its peak. So if you can set your circadian rhythm, all the anti-cancer fighting in your body is going to be so much better. So they say like, oh, the sun will cause you skin cancer, and the sun, like, will the sun cause skin cancer? Because everything that helps fight cancer benefits from circadian rhythm. It makes no sense. And they could say like, yeah, the sun causes cancer. Look, all these people got skin cancer from being in the sun, but it's like, did they really? Because actually, everybody is taught to stay inside and only get 15 minutes of sunlight at a time, or only get an hour of sunlight at a time if you use sunscreen, and always wear sunglasses and cover up your body. So it's like, really? Does that make sense? Because they're not telling people, hey, go stand in the sun with only your underwear on and get as much sunlight as you can, and then they're getting cancer. That's not what's happening. They are saying, cover up, wear sunscreen, wear long sleeves, wear a hat, wear sunglasses, and only go in the sun for 15 minutes to an hour at a time. But make sure you're wearing sunscreen. And then they're getting cancer from the sun. That's not true, because if you are blocking all the sun whenever you're outside, if you're covering up, if you're blocking sunscreen, sunglasses, you're blocking the sun, that's going to really, really, really mess with your circadian rhythm, because your body's confused. It's not getting the sunlight. So then your circadian rhythm's confused. You're not going to sleep as good. You're not going to get as much deep healing, high quality sleep, because your circadian rhythm's completely messed up. So you're not going to heal. You're not going to have as much energy for the next day. Your circadian rhythm's not going to work, and your circadian rhythm benefits all cancer-fighting things in your body. That's what's causing your cancer. That's what it is. So really, I got a little off track, but harmonizing with nature, with what's around you, is where you're going to be at your peak health. All the animals in nature don't need hospitals. They don't need pills. You just need to be in nature. You could say this sounds too out there, or you could say like, where's the proof of this? Where's the where's the science? I would like science to be proven to me sometimes. Science doesn't prove itself. But yeah, where's the science behind this if you want that? Like I've said, the ancient civilizations and our ancestors who were outside all the time, who had to hunt, who were outside, who didn't have shoes that were blocking the electrical current from the earth to their feet, who didn't have sunscreen, who didn't have sunglasses to block the sun's rays, who always woke up when the sun rose and went to bed when the sun set. And if they stayed up past sunset, the only light they had was fire. No blue light, that's fire, that's natural light. Who, when they eat food, it was because they had to kill an animal. And then that's just one single ingredient. And when they wanted seasonings, it wasn't some seasoning that biologically they had never evolved to have from a country across the world that has half of the ingredients fake and an anti-caking agent in it. The seasonings they had were just what's around them. The berries they had were just what's around them. A lot of stuff that we have immediate access to in a grocery store, or if we don't, we have it on Amazon. Or if we don't have it on Amazon, we can find some website from somewhere to access all these ingredients that our kind was not biologically evolved to eat. Because I evolved in this part of the world. None of my ancestors ever had access to food on this other side of the world. So we're not as evolved, and our digestion with these foods is not going to be as good. And if our body's struggling to digest, especially multi-ingredient food, which our ancestors never had, like I said, they kill an animal, they get the one meat from that animal. They got seasonings, it's just what's around them. It's a couple things. They got berries that you have like 3 to 4 berry options, That's what you were evolved to eat. Not some things across the world. Because when you're evolved to eat something, your body wants to be as efficient as possible. So it's like you were evolved after generations, thousands, hundreds of thousands of years to eat this food, these few foods. And you're going to digest those better than somebody on the other side of the world. And if your digestive system is working overtime to digest things it wasn't evolved to digest, or digesting fake foods, or digesting a bowl of like 12 ingredients, your body is working slower. And because you can't digest as well, that's going to harm your circadian rhythm. Because you have a whole nother body system that's trying to go while your circadian rhythm is trying to go. So think, these people had no blue light after dark because it wasn't possible. They didn't have flashlights. They didn't have light bulbs. They had no multi-ingredient foods. They had what they grew and what they killed. This is single ingredient foods. When you made a meal, it was maybe 4 to 5 ingredients max on a plate. Now it's like one seasoning is 4 to 5 ingredients. Next, they didn't have doctors to go to because they didn't need them. The kind of doctors that they had were the people who knew this information. It was like, hey, this is how you can align better. It's like the witches and the mystics, right? Those were the type of doctors that existed for thousands, hundreds of thousands of years. Not some guy in a white coat that wears glasses that are probably fake, that wears glasses and comes in and gives you a pill, right? Those doctors have not existed that long. I want to trust the doctors who have been around for hundreds of thousands of years, for our ancestors who really knew healing. That's the kind of doctors they had. Our ancestors did not have sun protection that blocked them from the number one biggest healer. They did not have Wi-Fi and screens and technology and cell service and satellites that had electromagnetic frequencies interfering right through the brain. I'm getting them right now too. I got my phone, I got my Wi-Fi, I got the light, I got my computer. You know, I've got my whatever, anything plugged in is EMFs. Our ancestors didn't have any of this thing, and they didn't need doctors. And when they were being healed, it was through ritual where you are meditating on something or dancing about something or thinking something through or talking something through, or an herb that they just picked that they may have to go pick once they realize it's wrong with you. It might have literally been like, oh, something's wrong with you? All right, here, I just picked an herb, take it. Not some stuff, not an herb that you order online that comes in a capsule. What is a capsule? Take the herb itself. That's another thing. Capsules are very, very, very stressful on your liver. So when you're taking stuff to help your liver, if you're taking a pill that will help your liver, but it's in a capsule, it's actually harming your liver. So why are you taking it? You just wasted money. Every pill that you can take is found in food or nature somewhere. All right, quick pause, but I had to wrap it up because I was going way off track. Anyways, the proof of healthcare is not necessarily in the studies and the science, because what is science? Like, science proves itself. All science does is just prove itself, and it's never proven by anything else. Just like you could say the same thing about philosophy. What is philosophy? It all just proves itself. Every different philosophy proves itself. Every different science just proves itself. But that none of that matters, because the proof of actually healing yourself doesn't come in the studies or in the science or anything. It literally comes from the thousands of years that people have done this and have lived healthily and have not needed doctors and not needed pills or not needed external sources to heal. That's where the proof's at. If you want science, then I go to a doctor and see how well it's going to help you, because it's not going to. But the shift, if you want to shift from the old school, from the old paradigm of living your life however you want, and then being unwell, and then going to a doctor and hoping that they're going to fix it, which they may fix it, but it's not going to be efficient. It's not going to be as good as you can do it yourself. So if you want to shift from the old way to the new way, it's that simple. It's just to align with what is around you, with what is nature. And really, if you ever have a question of anything, of like, well, how would this thing affect my health? How would this thing, blah, blah, blah. Just ask yourself, like, okay, how would your ancestors do it who didn't live like this? It's really that simple, because that's how people lived, and lived healthily for thousands of years, for so long, without doctors. And really, you could say, well, actually, they had doctors, and yeah, they did, but these doctors were ones who also aligned with nature. They were the doctors who knew natural healing, because they were the doctors who didn't have the lazy, easy way out of saying, like, here, just take this pill and get out and give me money. They didn't have that. To be a doctor back then, in that time, you actually had to know how to heal, how to better align with nature. And you had to know your herbs and what the food was and how you were eating. That there was no simple fix. And that's why, yes, there were doctors back then, and that's why they were efficient, because they were saying the same things I am saying now. The doctors then and doctors now were not the same. Really, to live a sustainable lifestyle, you first have to not want to rely on anything or anybody, and just know and believe that you can do it yourself. And if you can't do it yourself, you can do it with people who think very similarly to this. Because it's all in your own hands. You don't have to force protocols just because you read something online, or just because a doctor said something, or just because somebody mentioned how they did this one time and it worked. It's like you don't have to force these protocols that don't align with you and align with the nature around you. Because if you're forcing things that don't align, that's force. And force is resistance. And if there's resistance, that's tension in your body. And when there's tension in your body's not free to heal itself. I don't know what else I have to say right now. It's simple. If there's one little thing bothering you in your health right now, just take that and roll with it. Being like, hey, this is my issue. I believe that I can fix this. I know I can do it. That's what I would have done when I broke my ankle 3 years ago. If I would have known, I would have been like, hey, this is my one issue. This is where I'm putting my focus to heal it. I couldn't do that. If I would have known better, I wouldn't have got the surgery. But find that one little issue. Everybody has one little health issue. If they don't, they're probably not aware of it, which is probably okay as well, because once you're aware, you just kind of placebo yourself into making it worse. But find that one little thing and then figure out where you're not in alignment. How can you align with the nature around you? Because the nature around you is going to align your circadian rhythm, and then your circadian rhythm is actually going to do the healing for you, because all healing systems in your body are around that circadian rhythm. So it's really being aware of the energy that you have around you, of like your energy field. Because if your energy field is clean and healthy, then you're in that energy field, you're going to be clean and healthy. So find that one part of your health where you're going to shift from the old way to the new way and focus on that. And if you need help doing that, you can definitely feel free to message me on Twitter or comment or email or whatever. I'll link all that stuff. But that's how you're going to do it. That's how you will shift from the old paradigm of health into this new vital and decentralized and personal, and taking your power back to heal yourself rather than giving it away and letting somebody else do it for you, but not even do it for you because it won't work. That's how you make the shift.